Good morning, students. I will start my practical lecture now. Can you able to hear me? Can you able to see my screen? Now I will continue. Okay. CSS text spacing. Text spacing. Text indent property is used to indent the text. The first line of the text. What way you want, you can specify. Then text indent property is used to specify indentation of the first line of the text. Next, text spa- text spacing. Text spacing property is used to specify space between characters in a text. Line indent. Line height property is used to specify space between lines. And word spacing. Word spacing property is used to specify space between word in a text. So for that, yesterday this program I showed, just if you want, I will say again. Style property is applied to paragraph, to H1, H2, H1, H2. Similarly, the selector is used, that is the ID selector. No, not ID selector. Class selector. I use class selector for paragraph. For paragraph. Now it is for line. So for line also we can specify the style property. So for now H3. For H3 also, style is applied. Now we will see how it works. See, line number 35, HR. HR means for line. For line, class selector is applied and its name is new one. For paragraph, selector, class selector is applied, name is small, small, and line number 4, paragraph. For paragraph, class B is specified. Here, whatever text you want, you can modify right for your understanding. I wrote this paragraph with high line height. Here, this paragraph with small line, like this message I wrote. Now, according to your requirement, you can write here whatever message you want. Okay, whatever I wrote in P, that is your message, correct? So, uh, now for line, next class selector is applied. Sorry, same new one. Now it is message and if you see height, width, you can able difference you can able to see in this program. In your browser, you can see here the text spacing is not same. Here it is less. The paragraph spacing between two lines, spacing between two lines. You can specify for line color. Then here also this is heading 1, space between word, space between lines, and so on. This,
हेलो मैम।
yes, yes,
मैम वो पीएक्स क्या है?
page, 1 second,
वो 50 पीएक्स वो स्पेसिंग में।
1 second. In my program, when line number
यस मैम, वो फर्स्ट या 5 या 6 पे
P,
ये पीएक्स, हाँ 50 पीएक्स।
ph, okay, 1 second. Here, indentation. P, what is P? P is a paragraph. For paragraph, I want to indent. Now, how much indentation I want, I can specify, and that is in pixel. Px is for pixel. Okay, 50
यस
px
मैम।
is, yes, 50 px. If I change it 100, so indentation will be more. Clear now?
यस मैम।
Clear? Okay. Continue further. Continue further. Voice is
बढ़िया है। यस मैम।
breaking. Now voice is correct. Clear? Okay. In this, any problem? What is HR? HR is for line. Now, what way I want, that way I specified color and so on. Okay. So, suppose I want my output should be like this. One sec. Correct. So, accordingly, you have to write a paragraph. Okay. You want that spacing should be there. So, this is spacing. Okay. 50 px. Hmm. Then heading. What way you want heading, spacing, and so on. This everything, what way you want. Accordingly, you have to write the program. See, output will be on your browser. Output will be very small, but program, if you see, the program is almost 57, 58 lines program. Okay, in between, I do my text. What text you want, that also you have to write in program only. Clear now? Okay, I will continue. Next point, font. CSS font property define the font family, boldness, size, and style of the text. Font family. Font family of the text is set with font family property. So we will see. Hmm. There are two type of fonts. One generic font and form font family. Generic font in that say Serif, sans serif, and monospace space. And here font family. You know already these things. Okay, so we will apply in my program. Now see. Uh, if you are not giving sheet, so your text will be normal, simple. Okay. So now I will apply the style sheet for my text, my website. You can say so. Style dot dot here. This name can be anything. It can be x1, x2, x3. Correct. Now, uh, dot means it is a which type of selector. It is a class selector. Okay, there are two type of number of type of selector. Uh, Here I am using, I think, only one, that is the class selector. So dot means class selector. Now font family is specified for second one. Font family, some other is specified, and you can see the difference now. So P, I'm applying style sheet to here to P. That means for paragraph. And which styles they apply, I'm applying, I think second one. Second or first one. First one. Here I applied first style sheet, second style sheet, and third style sheet. And you can see the difference. Okay, you can see, family, font family is specified, and accordingly in your uh, browser what you want, you can write. You have to write everything in your program itself. Now next one, CSS font style style font style property is mostly used to select italic text. This property has three values. One, uh, normal, italic, and absolute. So, first is normal. The text is normally displayed. Next one, it is the italic, and last one it is like italic only, but it is less supported. Font width. Font width property specified width of the font. Normal, bolder, bold, and lighter. These are the three types. Font variant. Va- Font variant property specify whether or not text should be displayed in small small caps font. Okay. So these styles are there we can apply. Now just see the program here. Here for your simplicity, I am writing only one at a time. I can specify many at a time, but you may get confused. Okay, so now uh, P applying style sheet for paragraph, and that is the normal italic absolute. Now it is the dot. Dot means it is the selector. Which style again it is a class selector. So if it is a class selector, how to write it? P for tag P class equal to name. That is the normal. If you can say P dot x1, so it will be x1. Okay, it is like this. So P class equal to normal. Any name you can give accordingly, it will change. See here, this is paragraph, normal, italic, and absolute. I think no problem in that. Now, I will use embedded style statement, many things in one. How? Verify now. See, line number 4, style sheet is applied. So, line number 4 to 19, style sheet is applied. Now, S1, S2, and A. That means whatever I am writing from 6 to 11, that everything is applied to H1, H2, and A. If you are not writing style sheet, you have to write everything many times. Correct? That is the use of style sheet. Your program becomes compact, easy to modify also. Suppose I want to change size instead of 36, I want 40. So only one at one place I will change and it will be reflected everywhere. Correct? That is the advantage of style sheet. Now, see, whatever color, family, everything, whatever I have specified, that whatever I have specified, that is applied to all three tags. Correct? Now, next one. Hash. Hash means selector, which type ID selector. So ID selector. Name is call. COL. Color is green. Now, here everything is applied here. Okay. Uh, First, for all three many properties I have specified uh, property and its value. Property value. Property value. Okay. For all. Here also. Huh. For ID selector, color and value. Same thing here. Dot. Dot means this can be applied to anything. Dot. It is a selector for class. It is a class selector, and it can be applied to any tag. Okay. Here it is fixed that the tag will be applied to H1, H2, and A. Here it is not specified. A selector is created and it will be applied according to user or programmer choice. Now, I think this much is clear. Now, just verify line number 23. Uh, Line number 21, 23, H1 style equal to. It is a line inline selector. Selector on one line only. I have applied a style sheet. Okay. Then 24 line H2 message. Then 25 A A is actual file name is specified and that message image will be displayed. Now H1 already I said for H1 style sheet is applied. Okay, so I can apply two style sheet at the time also. Just see ID equal to call and size column. Sorry, your selector both are specified. Here H, H1 what do you want you can specify ID selector and class selector specified. Then here only ID selector is specified and here class. Here message size everything image you can able to see. If you want to display any image in your on your website, how to do that I already explained. So within a website in between you want you can do that also. Okay. Now next one, font size. Font size property sets size of the text. Set font size with pixel. Already I said pixel px in pixel. Setting text size with pixel gives you full control over text size. Now, it is in you can directly specify size or you can give in pixel or in percentage also. Now, here set font size with em. That is the next name. What is that? To allow users to resize the text. Many developers use em instead of pixel. आहे गॅस चालू आहे का बघून घे 1 em is equal to current font size or default size default text size in browser is 16 pixel. So default size of 1 em is 16 px. So size can be calculated from pixel to em using the formula pixel divided by 16 equal to em. So that what you size and that word in browser is to set default font size in percentage of the font element. You can specify in percentage. Now here I wrote in percentage font size percentage for paragraph. Sorry, for H1 size 1.5. That means 14 pixel and H2 it is em paragraph in pixel. Okay, font size you can space change. Actually speaking, H1, H2, H3, it is fixed. But using style sheet, if you want, you can change that also. Now, important one, but difficult also. Try to understand. I will again go from back side program. My, my, See here, uh, one point is there. You can specify the position where you want position. You want should fix here. Here I wrote planet food. Planet food. I want that it should be at bottom only. Okay. I want that it should be at bottom only. At this position. Right side. Okay. So we have positions. One is static relative. Try to understand, and it is a difficult point. Make your mic mute. CSS property for positioning an element. Now, values. These are the values static, absolute, and so on. We will see that static default is static. Element they entered in order as they appear in your document flow. When means what way document comes, that way it will display in your browser. Absolute. The element is for position relative to first position. Fixed. The element is position relative to browser window. Here there you can see two window uh, or position. You can say your screen starting from 00 or browse fixed. Element is fixed relative to browser window. Now relative. The element is fixed relative to its normal position. Okay. We can specify left or right and sticky. Sticky means the element is positioned based on the user scroll property. Sticky element uh, toggles between relative and fixed depending on scroll position. and initial it sets a proper default value, initial value, default value. These are the values you can set it. So where you want your output, you can make it make you can say it is a static, absolute, or sticky. Sticky means when your page is completed, then content will be fixed. Okay. So for this, I wrote the program, try to understand. Uh, it is an ID selected for parent one, child one, parent two, child two. Position is specified. Then parent three, child three, parent four, chi- parent child four. Position is specified where you want. Now, see, now 66 line, due, due section, ID equal to parent, and see, due is in between parent. So, it, be, it is the child of parent 1. So, it will be in between only. If you make it outside, then it will go to proper position, other position. Uh, here also, same thing is specified. What way you want, you can specify. Now see, position static. Child is at this position, parent 1. It is a static. That is what way it comes. That way it is displayed. That is your parent. Parent 1 static. Now next one is child 1. Child 1 is static and its position is specified. So as its position is specified, it will go to that position only directly. See, child 1 position is specified. Yes, border 1, red, top, this position, right and left is specified. So accordingly, you will get this output. Now next one is relative. Pa- Parent element has position relative. Correct. It is a relative to previous position. Then parent 2, parent 3 is absolute. Parent 3 element has position absolute and will not remain in normal flow. Correct? Uh, it will position according to its previous position. Okay. Then last one is your finite food and it is a fixed. So it is at last position only. And where it is, we have specified. Uh, so and parent 3 position is specified right side this. So your absolute value parent 3 will appear below right side, and 3 4 will appear to left side. Okay, you can see the output. If you change here, it will not change, it will be as it is. Okay, the screen is moving, but it will not change. Its position, its position is fixed, but this position is not fixed. Got it? So accordingly, you can specify the position of text. So I think with this, your selector or your one, unit one is almost over. uh, Everything I combine together. If you want, I can specify one one. But if I specify one one, you cannot able to understand the difference. How it works. All three, four work. So if you have doubt, you can ask me later on also. So unit one is over. One part I think I should, it is not in your, though it is not there in your syllabus, I will take that also. If I do that, you will get clear idea about your website. So that I will take next time. So unit one is over. Almost I tried to complete everything. Uh, frame, I frame that is not completed or that is not specified because it is not in your syllabus specified, but that is important uh, for your understanding purpose. So next time I will complete that. Okay, I think I will uh, complete my lecture. Madam is available. Okay, frame set. I'm not explaining. I'm displaying output. Up till now, you have many doubt that may be clear now. Uh, if if you remember 2 pages, 3 pages I have created. One is unsort, unsorted list, college, and last one is heading. Hello one. So I think now you got the idea. Up till now, I displayed you only one page, correct? But now you can see if you want to display more pages, you can do that also. How? Using frame state, frame state or iframe. Clear now? Many students may have doubt. I use up till now I use only one. Okay. Yes, madam. You can take next time. Okay. Madam, 1 second. Take first. That is not there.
Yes. Good morning, students. Am I audible? Okay. Last time I had explained you all the insert query, create table query, then I also done uh, update query. Yes, or select query. Yes. So, do you have any doubt? Please ask. Is everything clear? Or shall I explain again? Last code, update code. Okay. Or Okay, just check this. Okay. Uh, check the question. Last question. When I see one, then I'll want to explain again. So just check this question. Write a PLSQL block to accept the table name from the user and increase the age of the student by 5. Yes. So in this question, you have to accept the table name from the user. Yes. And you have to increase the student age by 5. You have to increase every student age by 5. Yes. By 5 means, for example, student age. If student age is 20, student age is 20, so you have to update from 20 to 25. Yes, you have to add 5. So for updating or for increasing, you need to execute which query? Update query. Because here we are updating our student age column. Yes, here we are updating. So for updating the table, we have one query, update query. Yes, the same as you check first every time first you have need to, because if you want to, if question is in question asks table accept the details from the user. So in that question you have to declare some variable for that. Yes. So every time when the question asks that accept the table name or accept the ID or accept any detail from the user, so first you need to de- uh, declare some variable. Yes. So declaration, so variable name, then type, and then size. Yes. So this is your declaration part. Yes. The next part is your begin executable part. Yes. Begin part, executable part. Second part is your executable part. That is your start with begin and end with end keyword. Yes. So you need to just write down your query here. Whatever calculation or whatever execution you need to what you want to execute, whatever things you have to write down in this part. Yes, and in this part between declare and begin keyword, between you have to write down just declare or initialize the variable values or variable name. Yes, and begin part, after begin keyword you have to write down the SQL statement, means your query or print statement. Is it okay, everyone? Yes. So what? Tell me the update query. Syntax for update query. This you have done in your FY. Yes. Update, then table name, then set keyword, and then column name, and whatever value you have to update, whatever value you want to add in that column, you have to just write down equal to. Is it okay? Yes or no? So update, ampersand table name is, because this is this value you have to take from the user, you have to accept from the user, so write down ampersand with table. If you want to write down directly name, so you can directly write down the name, update, then student table. So student, then set keyword, column name. Yes, this is your column name. So write same as your column name. Equal to again column name, and you have to add, you want to add something, some value. So column name plus that value. Is okay? Clear query, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. So then just check and just print some message after updating. Print this message. All rows updated. Yes, all rows updated. And just close this. Clear, everyone? Okay. So just check the execution part again. Yes. First you need to log in. Connect system. Every time some students forget how to log in. Just check connect system and then password type admin or root. and connect it. Yes, and then type add, then single quote. In single quote, you have to paste your path where your program is saved. So just check. Last time I had saved, we have saved this program in this file, sound file. Yes, so just execute this file. So first copy this path. Just paste here, then type sound dot SQL and single quote close. Yes, and then enter. So it will ask for table name. So type table name student. Student. So last time I created. Yes, just check. So it will display row updated. So every time if you want to update table or update any data from the table, so first check the old data. Yes, here you are not checking the older. So how if you are not checking the older thing, how you can check your data is updated or not? Yes, because sometimes, okay, Vanita, I'll explain again. Wait, because sometimes the query will not be executed and error will not be displayed. If you want to check whether your data is updated or not, first check your older value. Yes, so for checking the data, if you want to check the data from this table, student table, so which query we want to execute? Which query we need to execute? Tell me. If you want to check the data of any table, which query will be used? Everyone just see. This is your programmatical part. Yes? Or every time if I am only explaining or you are listening, तो आप लोगों को भी अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, मुझे भी नहीं अच्छा लगेगा, कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. तो जब भी मैं आंसर कर रही हूँ, when I ask you some question, please tell me some answer. If you don't understand or if you don't remember anything, just tell me, ma'am, I don't remember. Please explain again. So I know na, that you are listening lecture. If you don't answer in, so I thought you are not listening my answer. Yes. So for select star from table, this query will be used. So just type this. Select star from table. Table name, sorry. Table is your student. So student 4. Just check this. Because by mistakenly I add this one table is this 3. So it will add 8. Yes. So again I execute this query. Just check. Or check the difference. Student 4. Again execute, check. Your older value of SAM 8 is 30. Check. After updating 35. Older is 8, then after adding 30. Older is 30, then 35. Is it okay, everyone? Clear? Everyone clear? Yes, Vanita, clear? This is your update. So just check. If you want to check how your table, how your compiler just check the value, just check. If you execute update ampersand table name set age plus 5, yes, so just check in the place of ampersand v underscore table, when you enter student 4, so it will take student 4 as a table name, yes, and age is 5, then your row update. This is your older, this is your execution. When you execute this query, so this query will be updated like this. In the place of ampersand we underscore table, when you, whatever student name, whatever table name you enter, this will be added in the place of this text. Yes. So every time you need to check this thing, because when you will get the error, you can check where is your error, in which line your error is there. Yes. So you can easily check. So if you take student name or age column, so that means this is right. Is it okay? If there is error, then it will point using star. Yes, check in the next thing. Is it okay? Shall I proceed? All these things you have to execute in your practical, but this is your small program. Yes, this is your small program just for basic. But in your practical, you have to use this update query, insert query, create query using for loop or if statement. In that, you have to use this query. Yes. So this is your simple program. Just take the next question. One minute. Okay, just check this. This is the another query. Check. Correct. Write a PLSQL block to accept the table name and ID from the user. Yes. You have in this question you have to take table name and ID. These two things you need to accept. You have to take from the user. Means when you execute this question, you have to enter table name and you have to also enter ID. Yes, and you have to delete whatever ID user enter that record or that ID, that line, table that contain that ID, that row, you have to delete. Yes, if user enter one, so you have to delete the record that contain ID one. Is it okay? Clear everyone? Question. So first part is everyone just tell me first part and this question. Declaration is needed. Yes. Okay. So which variable? How many variables you have to declare in this question? ID or table? Okay, two. Yes. One for first for table. Second for ID. Okay, just check this. Check the step. Declare first variable for table name and then second variable for. Okay, just a minute. Yes. One, two, three. Yeah. Just check. You need to just take the variable ID. ID number three and then yes. So first you need to declare two variables ID v underscore table. This is your table name. This is your variable for table name and ID is for your yes. So you have to delete the same record when user enter ID as one. So you have to enter. You have to delete the same record. So delete query. Anyone remember delete query? Yes or no? Anyone remember delete query? Yes or no? Just answer. If you know, don't remember, side no. Just check. When our practical will start, at that time, if you don't answer, then I will not allow to perform your practical on that day because All these things I already explained you in online lecture. Yes, when our practical starts, at that time, if you not remembering all these things, means delete query, insert query, create query, all the queries. Yes, if anybody not remember, or if anybody forget all these things, this queries, yes, single type, single one line query, yes, I will not allow you to perform the practical on that day. Yes, because if I explaining again, because this query will be used in your practical, and this type of question you have to run your practical. Because in exam simple, last time or simple question will be asked. Just create this query, insert the record, find out or delete the after creating this table or inserting table, just delete this record. This type of question may be asked in exam. So if you remember this query, because everyone just said after inserting query, select query, delete query, update query. Syntax is same. Just you need to change this update query. Entire program is same. Yes? Just you need to change this update and delete and insert query. Is it okay? So just check. Delete from table name. Yes, your query is syntax is delete from table name. But you have to take this, accept this table name from the user. So just type ampersand v table name. Yes, whatever. Ampersand and your variable name. Yes, where clause. Yes, just tell me. There are two things for deleting the records or deleting the tables. Yeah, delete and drop. Tell me the difference between these two queries. Delete record. If we use delete record, then what is your output? And if we use another query is drop. Yes. So tell me the difference between drop and delete. Then sometimes I ask to the student, just delete this record from the table. The student says drop or sometimes they delete. So tell me the difference between this. I want answer from all the students. Nine are present. 91. Because this difference I had explained you in advance. If I want answer from everyone. I am waiting for your answer. Yes, where is other? Only 10, 20 students. Okay, wait, I'm waiting. Okay, everyone knows. Yes, a delete query is used to delete or remove specific data. Means if you want to delete the uh, record that contain ID1 or that whole ID1, means delete is used for deleting records from the table. Yes, but using some condition, because delete every time delete use some condition. Yes, using where clause or some. Yes, but drop is used to delete or remove entire table along with data. Is it okay? Yes. Delete is used to delete or remove the data from the table but using some condition. Yes. Because if condition is there or it is for specific. Because delete from table, you have to declare this, you have to write down this where clause. So delete every time you have to need to write down delete query with when clause. Because if you write down where ID is this or some condition, then you can delete that record. Yes. Or drop is used. Drop will delete or remove entire table along with data. Is it clear? So when I start your practical, when we will performing this practical, at that time, if any student tell me that if I ask that delete this record, if anybody tell me that ma'am, using drop query, we will delete or remove this record. At that time, I will not allow that student to attend any practical. Yes, because this is simple query. Or this is, if you want to learn from it, this is simple query. This you have to execute. Please be serious or start studying. Because in the first lecture, I have told you that please revise all the SQL query, but only some students revise this query and other is forgetting. Yes, so please be serious. Start study from this year. First year, you are not studying seriously. So please start study because this is very, yes, Vivek, drop delete entire table. Yes, is it okay? So after deleting, just write this message row deleted and then end it. Is it clear, everyone? How to delete the record? Just check practically how you can delete the record. Execute this query because this is your question number 8. So my question number is 8. So just run this question number 8. It will ask for student table name. Just type table name student, then 4 and enter. So it will ask for ID because in this question you have to check except table name and ID from the user. Whatever ID and student table name that user enter, that ID, that record will be deleted that contains this ID. Yes, that hold this ID. For example, with this third record. So enter. So it will display no deleted. Yes. After executing this, so every time after executing, check the update, whatever query you will execute, check the modification. Then use this select query and just check. Check. Before deleting this record, I have 3 records in student table. So that when I execute this record, when I execute this query, yes, just check delete from. In the place of ampersand table name, student 4 will be added. Is added. Yes. ID, ampersand, whatever ID user enter, 3. So ID is equal to 3. Is it clear, everyone? So your third record is deleted. Everyone clear how to create, how to insert, how to update, how to delete? Anyone have that in this all 4 queries? Okay. So just check the next part.
हेलो मैम।
Yes, Prem.
मैम, ये डिस्क्रिप्शन और सिलेक्ट में क्या डिफरेंस है? मतलब दोनों चेक करने के लिए यूज होते हैं ना?
Yes, but difference, main difference, they both are different because select will display the column name and the data from the table. Yes, but this description query will display your table structure. Table structure is column name, field name, function name, data type, and then size. Yes, the description query will not be display your data of the table. That display the structure of the table. Yes, means how many columns are there, which function you are using in that table, and table or data type of any column you can check using description query, and you can check the size of that column, any column. Is it clear? But select query will only display the column name and the data of that column. Yes, it will not display the size of that column or data type of that column or how many columns. It display how many columns are there. Using select query, you can check how many columns are there. Yes, how many columns are there. Created. Yes, how many columns are functions are using on which say column. Yes, which column you are using which constant you are using on which column. Yes, you can check easily using description. But means description query will display all the description about your table. Yes, जैसे अगर मैंने आपको अगर पूछा कोई रेसिपी या कुछ भी आपका. Yes, if I ask how to prepare rice, so आप कैसे करोगे, आप कैसे मुझे बताओगे जब हाउ और विच थिंग यू नीड टू मेक द राइस. तो आप मुझे उसमें क्या बताओगे, रेसिपी में आप यही बताओगे ना, मुझे सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स बताओगे. यस, हाउ टू मेक इफ आई हाउ टू मेक राइस, so you will tell me the methods of how to cook the rice. Yes, but I'll ask you that which ingredient is yes, which ingredient is used to make the rice. तो आप मुझे वैसे बताओगे. Same as description display the details about your table. Yes, how many columns are there, which concerns are using, which concern you are using in that table, size of that any column, data type of any column that will be used. Yes, or how your table will be displayed, how you can display your table, how you can display your rice. आप वैसे मैं example बोल रही है, how you can display your rice. That thing, this select star will be displayed. The select star will be display your only column name and it display the entire data that table will hold. Yes, and description will describe all the details of your table. I mean, because description will not be display the data. Yes, that table will hold. It will not display that data. It display the structure of your table. Is it clear? Yes or no? Plain clear?
यस मैम।
Okay. So every time, everyone remember this difference because description query will only display your structure of your table. How many the columns are there, how many which constants we are using in this table, or how many size of any column or data type of any column. Yes, or select star only display you the data from that table and the column name. Is it clear, everyone? Shall I proceed? Okay. Just take this question. This question is depend on your if then else statement. Okay. All this program I'll explain you whatever the program I'm explaining, this program is done. Whatever theory part I had explained you, that all the programs depend on that theory. Yes. If then else I had explained you where case case statement I already explained you. Uh, Loop I already explained. So whatever theory part I had explained you, that theory part that this program is related with that theory part. Yes. So this program is just take this question, write a PLSQL block to accept the student ID from the user and the name and the range of the percentage. Yes. You have to accept the student ID from the user, and whatever ID user sends, yes, you have to print the date and the range of the percentage. Just check how you can display. This is your grade, and if that user contains O, that user grade is O, then you have to print this range, 80 and above. Yes, in this question, you have to just print the message name. For example, Sam. Sam grade is O. So you have to just print Sam and the range of the percentage. Yes, you everyone clear this question? So just check the declare first. You need to declare the so ID. Yes, because you have to accept the ID from the user. So ID, then name, because you have to print the name. So first you need to select the name from the user, from the table. So, and after selecting that name, or after fetching that name from the user, you have to store in some variable. So this is the variable that store your name. Yes. Check the next grade, because you have to select the grade. Because after checking grade, you need to display. You need to print this percentage rate. Yes. Because in this question you have to only print name and the range of percentage. So when you print the name of range of percentage, when you know the grade, so first you need to select name and grade from the table. Is it clear, everyone? Declaration part clear, everyone? You just check the next begin part. So which query is you select query? Same. Last time I had explained you how to fetch the data. So this is your select. Tell me what is this? This is your variable or what? Tell me. After select keyword, you have to write down what is this student name and grade. Yes, tell me, everyone. What is this? After that, you have to write down after keyword, select keyword. You have to write down what? Yes, where is other? Priyanka, no answer. Where is other? Everyone. What is this? Nivedita, after select keyword, you have to write down what? What you have to write down? What is this? Student name and grade. I'll explain you the syntax. Because every time students do the mistake here. Yes, column name. And here, what is this? After into keyword. Because every time students do the mistake in the same part. Column name and this after into keyword. What is this? B name and B grade. Priyanka, Harsh, Sonali. Yes, variable name. Yes. because whatever output this query will face, that will be stored in this variable. It will set name, the name will be stored in the name variable. Yes. If you store grade, the grade will be stored grade. Yes. So everyone just write down the same name. Same thing. If you write name, student name first, then here you have to write down that same variable, v name. Yes. If you are writing this here, v grade first, and then write v name second. Yes. So your v grade store your name. Yes. So write down the same. Yes. So if you means here if you writing student name, so here you have to write down the same variable of v name. If you are writing v grade, then your v grade variable will store the student name. Is it clear, everyone? Clear this doubt? Yes. Student name and grade. If your grade is your first column, yes, here your grade is first column. So write down here v grade first, then v name. Yes, because your column name, this query will take student name and store this in first variable. Whatever variable you write, it will store in this variable. Yes, is it clear, everyone? So if you write in student name here, so write first that variable name that store your student name. If you are writing V grade, so that V grade contain your student name. That V grade store your student name. Yes. So is it clear? So you have to put student name and the grade. So student name and grade into this. So your student name will store in this variable and grade will store in this variable. Then from keyword and your table name, student. Yes, student. And where you have to write down the flow, because you have you have to accept the username, ID from the user. Whatever ID user enter, for example, one. So this query will save the data, the student name and the grade whose ID is one. Is it okay? So this query will be display the output. Student, it will display the name and the grade whose ID is one. If user enter ID equal to one, so it will display the name and the grade of the student whose ID is one. Is it clear? What this query will display, or what this query will fetch from the table? So it will fetch name and the grade, and it will store that name and the grade in this variable, and it will fetch name and grade of the student whose ID is one. Clear, everyone? So just check. And after fetching this query, you have to check your grade is equal to something. Yes, if your grade is O, you need to print some range. Yes, so just check. So using this if query, yes, if statement, if syntax is if, then condition, then keyword. Yes, so your condition is you need to check that if user enter one, so if you this query will display this query will fetch, for example, grade is O, so it will check V grade equal to O, because this query just check because, for example, this query will hold for if user enter one, yes, ID as one, just check this is your ID as one, and if user face an ID of the student name is, for example, Sam, yes, and your grade is for O. Yes. So if this query will say these two things, name is Sam and grade is O. So after fetching this two things, all these things will be stored in these two variables. Yes. Your Sam will be stored in this name variable and O is stored in the grade. So after storing this, so this statement will check this V grade. Whatever grade is stored in this variable, it will check. So V grade. So your V grade is stored O value. Yes. Currently your V grade store O value because value user enter one and ID of one. Sam and O is the student detail that whose value is whose ID is one. So for example, this variable stores Sam and O. Yes. Or so it will check V grade. So V grade is for O, so it will check. If V grade is equal to O, so is it true? In this condition, V grade is equal to O. Is it true? This condition is true or false? Yes, everyone. If your V grade, currently your V grade is O, okay, this is true. Yes, so it will print your student name and your percentage is 80 above. So your student name is Sam. So it will print Sam, your percentage is 80 and above. Is it clear? Why we are fetching grade? Because you have to print the range of percentage. So how you can print the range of percentage? How we can print the range of percentage? First, we need to fetch the grade, and we need to compare that grade for some other. Yes. So here, this query will return if user enter one. So this query will return student name and the grade whose value whose ID is one. So for example, your ID Sam value Sam ID is one and grade is O. So this two variable contain V name as Sam. This variable value is Sam and this variable store value as O. Yes. After that, this statement, if statement checks that V grade is equal to O is yes, then it will print the name of student and print this message. Means Sam, your percentage is 80 and above. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Check the next part. Else if, because this is because you have to check all the grades. Yes, you have to compare all the grades. If, for example, your with this B grade, Sam grade is A plus, so it will pay B name and your percentage is between 70 and 79.9. Yes, is it clear? Same. Yes, same. Just check. Next, else if your V grade is A, then it will print name and your percentage is between 60 and 69. Next part, again, it will check B plus. If first condition is true, it will not check another condition. Yes. Next condition, it will not check. If first condition is false, it will check the next condition A plus grade. If second is also wrong, if second is also false, then it will check this grade. If value of grade is A, if it is also not, if it is also false, then it will check this B. Value of B grade is equal to B. It is also false, then it will check again next condition. So like that, it will check next condition. When it will check the next condition, is other condition is false. Yes, if one of the condition is true, it will stop at that time. Is it okay? Clear, everyone? Yes or no? So like that, you have to check all the
Hello, ma'am.
grades. Just check. Yes, same.
मैम ये एक्सेप्ट करना है स्टूडेंट आईडी, मतलब हम यूजर से हमें आईडी लेनी है.
Yes. So whatever ID user enter, for example, user enter one. So that select query will fetch the name and the grade of student whose ID is one. So in our table, ID Sam where ID is one. So it will fetch name as Sam and grade of the Sam. The grade of the Sam is O. So it will store name as Sam and grade as O. So that O you have to just check every time you have to compare with grade using. So whatever value this variable V grade, V underscore grade, whatever value that variable contains, that value will be compared with this alphabet. Yes, if this variable holds this same, if V underscore grade is equal to C, then it will print the same line. Yes, is it clear? Everyone just clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Last part is your. After that, if all the else if condition is false, it's all else if, so it will come in else part. Yes, it will come in else part and the print no record matches. If all if condition or all else if condition is false, all the condition is false, then it will print, it will come in else part and print no records found. Is it clear? Yes or no? And your program will be ended. Your yes in this statement is, if statement is end with this end is keyword, and your program is end with this end keyword. Everyone clear? Yes or no? So just check this output. 1 second. Yes, our table name is 4, na? Student 4. Yes. Need, then just check everyone. First, execute this question. Yes, everyone just see. It will ask for ID. Yes, so just enter ID, for example, 1. So it will display Sam, your percentage is between 60 and 69. So everyone just check this query, select student name or this. Yes, yes. So directly it will display that Sam, your percentage is between 60 69. Just check because the Sam grade is A. Yes, and your program, if grade is A, then just check value of the this thing. If your A is grade, A is, if your grade is A, then you need to print value of name of the student and your percentage is between 60 and 69. Everyone clear? Yes or no? Again check the next ID 2. So it will print John, your percentage 80 and above. Clear everyone? Yes or no? Is it clear? Sonali, yes? So everyone clear all these things? Yes, you can. Because next program is depend on your case statement and it is the same type of program. So this program you can either you can write using using if then else statement or you can write using case statement. Yes, is it clear everyone? So here everyone just punch your PRN number. Everyone, we are stopping here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Shall we begin the session? If you're done punching your PRN. Let's begin. So in last session, we have already started the definition of non-deterministic finite object. We have completed our DFA successfully, the construction of all the patterns of DFA. I hope that is clear to you. If you are good with constructing DFA, NFA will be very, very easy to you. Okay. So non-deterministic finite automata. We have seen the definition in the last session. Non-deterministic in the sense. What do you mean by deterministic? Can anybody please help? What do you mean by deterministic finite automata? We have constructed so many machines, so many DFAs. So how can you define a deterministic finite automata? Yes, I'm expecting the answers in the chat box. Can we say deterministic is nothing but we'll have response for each and every input on every state? Yes. So I got one answer. Each input has an output. Yes. So your machine will respond on each and every input on every state. That is nothing but deterministic. Your machine has to be very, 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 very precise. Sonali, please mute yourself. Sonali, please mute yourself. Am I audible clearly, guys?
Stories. One comes across very in our descriptions of my thoughts.
Am I audible clearly, guys? Am I audible to all of you? Please keep your mics on the mute mode, everyone. So I was talking about the non-deterministic finite automata. As the name says, it is a non-deterministic. So it may or may not have response for each and every input. Okay, it's not necessary that your machine will respond on each and every input. So that is the definition of non-deterministic finite automata. Let's check. So non-deterministic finite automata, in short, we say NFA or NDFA, is defined in the same way as of the DFA, but with the following two exceptions. We have covered this part in the last session. Anyone remember? Yes, anyone remember? What are those exceptions? What are those exceptions? The first one, can we say we can have multiple response for yes? I got one answer from the Pankaj. That is the correct one. Anyone else want to try? Okay. Pankaj is saying we can have multiple inputs, or I modify it. We can have multiple outputs for the same input. Is it okay, Pankaj? We can have multiple outputs for the same input, and we can have null transitions. That is, we can have empty inputs, right? So Meenakshi and Harsh also is saying null transitions. Am I audible clearly? Pankaj, is it okay with you? Okay. So the two exceptions are the first one, on the single input we can have multiple output. That is, on the single input we can have multiple transitions, and or we can have a null transition. Please check. Contains the multiple next states and contains null transition. So these two exceptions, if you have in your DFA is nothing but an NFA. Because in DFA, we cannot have multiple next states for the single input, and we cannot have the null transition too, right? To check the formal definition, the finite automata are called NFA when there exist many paths for a specific input from current state to next state. Reach to the another state, if you have multiple paths, then we can say the automata is NFA, that is non-deterministic finite automata. But we cannot, we haven't precisely mentioned that this is the only path to reach to a particular state. It is easy to construct an NFA and DFA for a given regular language. And how that will be easy is you will see in this session. So every NFA is not a DFA, but NFA can be transformed to the DFA. Now, this is a formal definition of your non-deterministic finite automata. We are having the five tuples as same as of the DFA, and the definition of each of them is also same, except this delta part, that is nothing but a transition function. So transition function for DFA was Q cross alpha equals to Q on a particular state on a given input, we'll move to the next state. Here, the mapping has changed. That is, Q cross alpha tends to 2 raised to Q, because we can have multiple next states for the given input on a current state. Okay, rest everything is same. Q is nothing but the set of all states in your machine. Sigma is the alphabet set, the symbols which are going to use as an input. Transition function is Q cross alpha tends to 2 raised to Q. Q naught is your initial state, and F is your final states, which can be one more than one. And initial state has to be. Okay, so let's move to the construction part. Before moving to the construction part, this is one of the DFA. Can you see this particular machine is not complete? See, on Q0, we have transition for 0, that is moving to Q1, as well as on 0, it is moving to Q0. Do you ever notice this in your DFA? This case was there in your DFA or not? Aparna, am I audible to you? Priyanka, Aparna. Yes. Please check. Now is it fine? That was a sound from the pen. So check the machine which is there on your screen. So we have two transition for the input symbol 0. That is Q0 on 0 is moving to Q1, as well as we have a loop on Q0 for 0. Have you ever seen such kind of transitions in DFA? Have you ever made two transition for a given symbol in a DFA? Yes, I'm talking about a DFA. No, we cannot have more than one transition for a given symbol in DFA. But here you can check for the same symbol, that is 0. I have two transitions. Q1 on 0 is moving to Q1, Q0 on 0 is moving to Q1, as well as it is moving to Q0 also. So we are having multiple transitions for same input. Now check the state Q2. Is it complete? Is it complete? Do we have any transitions from Q2? Please respond, guys. Is Q2 state is complete? No, it's not complete. Both the arrows are coming to Q2, but Q2 is not responding to any of the input, right? So such things are allowed in NFA. We are not going to bother about the completing each and every state. We are just going to construct a machine that is capable of accepting a given string. ठीक है? Accepting पे concentrate करना है, rejecting पे concentrate नहीं करना है. Okay? So let's check. First of all, let's have a look at the difference between the DFA and NFA. So DFA, for every symbol of the alphabet, there is only one state transition, right? You have already given me the answer for that, that for every symbol of the alphabet, we can have maximum one state transition. For every symbol of the alphabet, there can be multiple state transition. Last one example, we have C. Q0 on 0 was having two transition, one on Q1 and another on Q0 only. Cannot use empty string transition in DFA, but here we can use the null transition, that is empty string transition. Can be considered as one machine. Now, DFA can be considered as one machine, can be considered as multiple little machines computing the same thing. Now, here, the whole DFA, since it is complete, since the DFAs are complete, so we can consider them as a one machine. Here in NFA, since we are not completing each and every state, we can consider as the multiple little machines which are computing the same thing. Except the strings if it transit to the final state. Acceptability criteria for DFA क्या है? It should start with the initial state and it should stop in the final state. That is the criteria for accepting any string with respect to DFA. Now, same if you are trying to accept a string using NFA, the criteria for that is at least once the string should pass at the final state. I read the point. Accept the strings if at least one of all possible transition ends in the final state. So एक बार भी आपका string ने final state को pass किया and finally last में if it is not in the final state too, then also your string will be accepted. Okay. Requires more space DFA because we need to take care of the each and every state, the completion of each and every state. Here, since we are not going to complete all these states, require less space. Difficult to construct, easy to construct. The reason is same, completion of the state. All the points are clear. Any doubt in any point in the difference? Priyanka, are you talking about the second point? Cannot use the empty string transition. Okay, so we cannot have empty string transition in DFA, which means we cannot pass empty strings. We cannot pass epsilon in DFA. Epsilon we refer as an empty string character, but same is allowed in NFA. Once we start constructing NFA, तो आपको समझेगा, this point will be more clear. Shall we proceed? Any other doubt in the difference? Please make a note of this point. Accepting criteria for the TFA, it should start with the initial state and end at the final state. But for NFA, if it is once traveling to the final state, uske baad last mein it can go anywhere. Okay, but we are going to accept those strings. Check here. Now, this is a transition table. You guys are aware about the structure. That is nothing but the representation of machine using the transitions. Okay, using a transition table. So here are my states and my inputs are 0 and 1. These are my states, and we are going to convert this particular NFA transition table into an NFA machine. Okay. So how we are going to do this? Should I wait for a few seconds? Would you like to try in your notebooks? We have 4 states, Q0, Q1, and Q2. Since arrow is given near Q0, so that is your initial state. And star is there on Q3, so that is my final state. Right? Shall we begin constructing? Okay, before starting with the construction, let's check Q0 on 0 is responding to 2 states, that is Q0 and Q1, right? Q0 on 0 is moving to Q0, which means we can have a loop on Q0 and we have a transition from Q0 to Q1 on 0. And same is the case for where the input is 1. Q0 on 1, it's having loop on Q0 and it's moving to another state, that is Q2, which means on the same input 0, it is responding in 2 different ways. And on the input 1, we have 2 transitions, right? Same is the case of Q2 on 0. Q2 on 0 will be having 2 transitions. And check here, can you see this E character here? That is nothing but the representation of epsilon. That is your null string. So we don't have transition for 1 on Q1. So we are having a null transition. Now this particular structure you will not see in DFA. In DFA, each and every cell of your table should be atomic. Atomic in the sense each and every cell of your table will have only one value. We cannot have multiple values and we cannot have epsilon. Okay, we can have only single values. So let's begin with the construction. Q0 on 0. Anyone? Yes, where it is going? You can read it from table. Q0 on 0, we have a loop on Q0 and Q0 on 0 is moving to Q1, right? So Q0 on 0 is moving to Q1 and we have a loop also on Q0. Now let's make a transition for Q0 on 1. Tell me Q0 on 1. Q0 on 1 is moving to Q0, that is we are going to have a loop for the 1, 2 and we are moving to another state called Q2. So Q0 on 1 is moving to Q2 as well as we are having the loop. So I've changed from 0 to 0 or 1. Is it okay? Are you getting how to construct, how to convert a table into a machine? Let's move to the second row. The first row is finished. We have transition for both the inputs on Q0. Let's move to the second row, which one is for Q1. Q1 on 0. Yes, Q1 on 0, guys. Q3, right? And since we have a star near Q3, so that is my final state. So Q1 on 0 is moving to the final state, that is Q3. Q1 on 1, it's epsilon. So we don't have any transition, right? So I'm not going to draw any arrow for the epsilon. We have a null transition here. All right. Let's proceed to the third row. Q2 on 0. Q2 on 0 is moving to Q2 as well as Q3. So you'll be having loop here and a transition from Q2 to Q3. Check here. Is it okay? Q2 on 1. Sorry. Q2 on 1. Q3. So instead of this 0, can I write 0 and 1 both on the same arrow? Yes. Check here. Let's move to the final row. Q3 on 0. Q3 on 0, we have a loop. As well as Q3 on 1, we are having loop. So Q3 on 0, we have a loop as well as for 1. So can we convert any of the given table into an DFA, right? Just you have to keep this in mind. We are going row by row. Okay, so you have to go row by row. Row 1 for 0th state, row 2 for first state, row 3 for third state, and so on. Okay, so you have to read the table row by row and draw accordingly. Now check here. How we can say this is non-deterministic from the table also you can say. As you have seen, there are two next states for the 0 and two next states for the input 1. And for Q2 also, we have two next states for 0 and we have epsilon also. So from table also, you can identify that that is an NFA, it's not a DFA. And from the diagram, you have to check whether my each state is completed or not. First of all, it is not completed because we don't have transition for 1 on Q1, right? As well as you can check, we have two transitions for 0 here on Q0, right? And on these different input, 0 and 1, both are moving to Q3. So how can it be deterministic? If I'm saying 0, it is moving to Q3. If I'm saying 1, it is moving to Q3. So it cannot be deterministic, right? So it has to be NFA. Now, yes, I missed it. On Q0, we'll be having loop for both. Harsh. Yes, Harsh, here on Q0, we'll be having loop for both, that is 0 and 1 because it's there. Okay. So from the table, if you want to check whether my machine is non-deterministic, so you'll check for the multiple entries and the null entries. And from the machine, you will check whether my machine is responding multiple ways on a given input or whether we have a null transition or on the different input is moving to the same next step. Is it clear that the definition of NFA is clear? How we are going to identify from the table as well as the diagram? Shall we proceed? Okay. Let's proceed. Now our favorite part. Now I'm not going to help you in the construction of NFA. सारे के सारे patterns I have covered in DFA. So I want you to construct the NFA. And since you are not going to complete each and every stage, that will be easy for you, right? So construct an NFA that accepts all these strings starting with A, starting pattern. Remember? So quickly tell me the language. We are going to construct an NFA that is going to accept all these strings starting with AB, starting pattern. Tell me the language for your machine. It will be AB, it will be ABA, ABB, and so on. So the smallest string is AB. Same methodology we are going to use. We'll start with the smallest string and finish it. Okay. So let's begin. This is the first part, right? Right? This much is clear to you? Say the DFA wala thing only. We'll start with the initial state and we try to accept the smallest string possible, which is AB here, right? Is anyone any doubt? Arkish, please mute yourself. So we are starting with Q0. I'm passing A. We are moving to Q1. I'm passing B. We are moving to the final state, Q2. Now, as the definition says, we don't have to bother about the completing the states. So this much is okay for the NFA. Yes. Is this NFA is okay for accepting all these strings starting with AB? I'm expecting the answers. Quickly tell me. Since the definition of NFA says we don't have to worry about completing each and every state. So if this definition is okay for accepting all the strings starting with AB, yes. Okay, I got so many answers. All are saying yes, but no. Okay, this particular NFA is capable of accepting a string AB only. It is not going to accept a string ABA, ABB, and so on. So to accept all the strings which will start with AB, we have to put one loop on Q2. We have to complete state Q2 because that is necessary. Logically, think logically. If only this much machine is given to you. So by looking at this, you can see this machine is going to accept a string AB. That's it. What about the other strings like ABA, ABB, and so on? That will not be accepted by this machine. So you have to have a loop on Q2. Meenakshi is saying complete karna is not possible. Complete karna is not compulsory. Right. Complete karna is not compulsory, but logical to dekho. You have to think logically. If you will not complete, you will not give the response on Q2 for A and B. How it is going to be in the final state or how it is going to respond on the, if suppose if we are trying to pass a string ABA, what will be the transition? Tell me what will be the transition if we are trying to pass a string ABA. Do we have a transition for ABA? No. We'll start with Q0. We'll pass A. We are in Q1. On Q1, I am passing B. We are in Q2. What about A? उसके लिए respond ही नहीं है ना, right? If we don't have a response, then that is not a case of NFA. It should respond at least for the strings which are going to be accepted, right? So we have to complete the loop. Now this is an example of your DFA. If you are doing DFA, you have to have response for all, right? Q0 on A is moving on Q1. Q0 on B, we have to put it in a dead state since my string cannot start with a symbol B, right? Remember? This we have covered in the DFA part. Now we had a response for Q2 on B. Already we are moving to the Q2, but Q1 on A is moving to the dead state. Then we have finished dead state as well as we have finished the final state also, right? But now in the case of NFA, you don't have to bother about these responses. These responses are not going to affect, but this much you have to draw. Pankaj is asking input can be 0 and 1 or A or B. It depends on the language, with the alphabet set which is given in your question. So here my language alphabet set contains two symbols A and B. So I'm going to take the inputs A and B. Meenakshi, is it clear? See, this completion part is not necessary. This is your DFA, the completed one. This completion part is not necessary, but you have to put loop at here, so that your machine is going to accept all these strings which are starting with AB. If you will not put loop at the state Q2, your machine is going to accept a single state, that is AB. So NFAs are easy, no? We don't have to bother about the completion, right? Let's proceed. Okay, that was the comparison. How we'll start with drawing the same pattern. We are going to consider the smallest string, that is AB. Q0 on A will move to Q1. Q1 on B will move to Q2, and we have to complete. Now let's try the another one with the starting pattern only, BAB. Can you quickly tell me how many states will be there in BAB? I got one answer from Priyanka. So for BAB, first of all, the language will be BAB, BABA, BABB, and so on, right? Starting symbol should be BAB, right? So here's your language. And to start with, we'll start with the initial state Q0. On B, I'm moving to Q1. On A, I'm moving to another state, that is Q2. And on B, I'm moving to my final state Q3. Now, we don't have to bother about completing Q0, Q1, and Q2, but we need to put loop on Q, so that this particular NFA will accept all the strings starting with BA. Is it okay? That is my final one. Is it okay? Okay, let's proceed. Now this one is on ending pattern. The string should end with BA. The language will be, quickly tell me the language. Here's your previous slide, Nivedita. Done. The language will be BA. We have ABA, we have BAB, and so on. Right? So I'm going a bit fast because we have constructed all these patterns in DFA. NFA आप खुद ही कर सकते हो. So we are starting with the initial state. Let's try to accept the smallest string possible. That is Q0 on B will move to Q1. Q1 on A will move to Q2. Now, please keep thing in mind that we are trying to construct an NFA for ending pattern. So we cannot have loop on Q2. Can we have loop on Q2? If you put a loop on Q2, so it is going to accept strings starting with BA, right? But here the pattern is ending. So tell me, What modification are necessary in this NFA? कौन सी स्टेट को कंप्लीट करना पड़ेगा? So I got the answer that we can have loop on Q0. And that's true that we can have loop on Q0 because in the beginning we can have anything A or B. If you don't put loop on Q0, it is going to accept a string BA only, but it will not consider the other cases where we can have any symbol before BA, right? So NFA, if it is starting pattern, you will be having loop at the final state. If it is ending pattern, you will be having loop at the initial state. Are you getting the difference? DFA याद है इसका? We have covered all the cases. What if अगर A आया तो? What if अगर B आया तो? What if अगर A आया तो? Right? So here we are not going to bother about the responses which are not required for a string to accept. Shall we proceed? We are going to create responses to only those strings who are going to accept. Check the another one. We have a strings ending with BAB. Okay, Pankaj is asking why you have given loop on Q0 on both A and B. See, before BA, anything can come. A's can come, B's can come, a combination of A's and B's can come. I'm looking for the ending pattern. So BA is fixed at the ending. यहाँ पे कुछ भी आ सकता है ना, A भी आ सकता है, B भी आ सकता है और A और B के different combinations भी आ सकते हैं. Hence, I have put loop here for both A and B. Is it clear, Pankaj? Pankaj, you got my point? Okay, the another question. If we get B on Q1, see, if we get B on Q1, we don't have any response, right? So any which way we are not going to move to the final state. So आपकी acceptability criteria क्या है? At least once your string should travel to the final state. So since this is a NFA, we are not going to concerned about creating responses which are not required, which are not going to be under consideration for accepting the string, right? So I'm not going to create a response for B on Q2. I'm creating this so that all these strings will be considered which are starting other than AB, starting other than BA. Okay, Pankaj, if you finish this part, then it will become a DFA. If your response on Q1 for B, that will become a DFA, then you say, I'll complete this state too. Okay, let's proceed. The another one is PAB. So the language is this. Nivedita has answered only. And we are starting with the initial state and we'll try to accept the smallest string that is BAB. So Q0 on B, we have transition to Q1. Q1 on A, we are moving to Q2. Q2 on B, we are moving to the final state. Now tell me, what is necessary here? What is necessary here? Loop on Q0. If you will not put loop on Q0, suppose my string is starting with A. So do we have transition on Q0 for A? No, if we don't have transition, how we are going to check for other three symbols after A? Suppose my string is AB, AB. That will be accepted, right? So you have to put loop here, right? So I'm going to put loop here for A and B both. So in the beginning, we can have A or B both, but the ending symbols are fixed, that is BAB. Is it clear? I'm going a bit fast, but we have spent a lot of time on construction of DFA, right? If you're good with DFA, I said it will be very easy for you to construct NFA. I hope you are realizing now this. Let's proceed. So we have another, that is a substring pattern. So what will be the smallest string possible, first of all? The substring can contain AA. Tell me the smallest string, that is AA. So we're going to construct a machine for AA first, and then we'll see what can we do, right? So that is my language. Let's start with Q0. Q0 on A is moving to Q1. Q1 on A is moving to Q2. Now tell me what is necessary here. Yes, think logically. For the starting pattern, we have loop at the final state, and for the ending pattern, we have loop at the initial state. What is necessary here? Tell me. For accepting a string which has a substring on AA, we are going to put loop on both initial as well as final. Check here. So on initial state, I'm going to put loop for A and B both, and same goes with my final state, because I'm going to check the pattern in between, right? That is AA. Is it okay? We are not completing the state Q1. So it's still an NFA. If you complete the state Q1, then that will become a TFA. Is it okay?
हेलो मैम।
Yes, Priv.
मैम अगर हम कोई भी लूप अल्फाबेट का नहीं डाल रहे हैं तभी भी चलेगा ना, क्योंकि एक स्ट्रिंग कंप्लीट कर रहा है फाइनल स्टेट।
नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि अगर आप फाइनल स्ट्रिंग सिर्फ लूप कर रहे हो और इनिशियल स्टेट नहीं कर रहे हो, तो आपका स्टार्टिंग पैटर्न वाला सब चलेगा, बट द स्ट्रिंग से BAA will not work if you put a loop on the final state and not at the initial state. यही पूछ रहे हो ना क्वेश्चन?
यस मैम।
If we put loop
मैम
on the
पर
final state but not at the initial state. Say.
मैम पर एक एक स्टेट कंप्लीट हो रहा ना, मतलब फाइनल स्टेट कंप्लीट हो रहा ना, एक होना चाहिए था इसमें।
फाइनल स्टेट कंप्लीट हो रहा है, हाँ, तो व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन?
एटलीस्ट एक हो रहा है तो
एटलीस्ट एक हो रहा है तो ठीक है, बट इफ यू पुट लूप ऑन द फाइनल स्टेट तो आपके सारे strings which are starting with AA will be accepted. But what about the in between A? We can have A's and B's at the beginning and we can have A's and B's at the end. But in between, I want two successive A's, right? तो आप अगर सिर्फ फाइनल स्टेट पे लूप डालोगे, so that will consider all the cases starting with AA. What about the starting with other symbols like BA, AA? Are you getting my point?
यस मैम।
So you have to put loop on both. That is on initial state. मतलब initial में भी you can have anything. A और B का कोई भी combination आएगा. Last में भी कोई भी combination आएगा. But in between, if you have two ways, then only we'll reach at the final state. Then only we'll travel final state once. So that is the acceptability criteria for DF NFA, right?
यस मैम।
So both the loops are important. We have to put loop at the initial state as well as the final state for the substring pattern. Is it clear to all of you? Shall we proceed? Check here. We have one more on substring, that is ABB. The smallest language possible will be, smallest string possible will be ABB. So we'll start constructing for ABB first. Q0 on A will move to Q1. Q1 on A will move to it should be Q2. And Q2 on B will move to Q3. Okay, there's a mistake. So I have named two states as Q1, Q1, you can change it. Now tell me, where should we have loops? Do we require loops? Yes, we do require loops on both these states, that is initial as well as final. So we are going to have loop on the initial state as well as on the final state. The substring pattern is clear. NFAs are easy, right? Chalo. So we have covered three patterns: starting, ending, and substring, right? Now, uske baad we have seen different patterns like starting and ending with the same symbol. Then we merged two, right? So I'm not going to cover all of the DFAs, but आपने जो भी DFAs बनाया with different conditions, you can try constructing NFAs. I'm going to cover few of them. So let's check. Here's a pattern where the start and the end symbol is same, that is A. So can you give me the language for this? Strings starting and ending symbol is A. So I got one answer from Priyanka, that is A, AA, ABA, triple A, and so on, right? Vanita, yes. Viraj, okay. So let's look at the language. So this is my language. Please check single A is also a case, right? I have explained you that last time where we were doing the same pattern for NFA, DFAs. So if we have a single A, that also will be accepted because the starting and the ending symbol is same because we have only single A. So let's try to construct a DFA for this. We'll start with Q0. I'm trying to construct a DFA that is capable of accepting A. Okay? We'll start with Q0. On A, where should it move? On A, where should we go? Q1, and that will be my final state or not? Will it be my final state? Yes. So on A, I am moving to Q1, and that is my final state. Now this particular NFA is going to accept a string A. Let's try to modify it according to our condition. Let's take the second string from the language only, AA. How do you modify this particular for AA, which you have drawn? Q0 on A is moving to Q1. Suppose the string is AA. How do we modify that? Can we modify it for the length 2, strings with length 2? Can we modify this? How? So we are going to introduce one temporary state. Yaad hai? So Q0 on A is moving to Q2. That is my temporary state. It will check for another A. If we have another A, I will move to my final state. Otherwise, I will not going anywhere. Right? Is it true? Is it a case? So in temporary state, when I am in Q2, which means I got the starting symbol A. Now I'm using this temporary state to check the intermediate symbols. So should we have a loop on Q2 for A and B? Can we have a loop on Q2 for A and B? So check here. Let me complete the second case first. So on single A, Q0 on single A is directly moving to the final state. Q0 on two A's is moving to Q2. Then it will check for another A and will move to the final state. Okay. Now this is the case where we are getting two A's only. But we can have anything between two A's. To complete that case, we need to complete one state, right? It's not necessary to complete all states in the NFA, but to consider all the cases where the starting symbol and the ending symbol is A, but in between we can have anything. We have to give loop on Q2 for either A or B. Is it clear? Check. We have a loop on Q2 for A and B. Is it okay? Any doubt till here? I'm taking one more example which is related to this, then we'll wind up with the session. Okay. So check this. We are supposed to construct an NFA that accepts all these strings that starts and ends with the same symbol. Now we have already seen an NFA in which starting and ending symbol is AA, right? दूसरा केस क्या हो सकता है यहाँ पे? और a language AB है, so starting and ending symbol should be same, which means my strings can start and end with AA, or my strings can start and end with BB, right? Are you getting my point? Either it will start with AA and end with AA, or we can have strings starting and ending with BB, right? Starting and ending symbol should be same. So AA wala case we have already seen. This much you have already seen, right? Now I'm trying to modify this so that this particular NFA is going to accept a strings which are starting and ending with BB. Let's check. Let's do the modification here only. This we have seen for AA, right? How do we modify it for BB? Check here for the single A, we have a direct transition from Q0 to the final state. So instead of A, can we have B here? If I got a single B, can I move from initial to final state and accept those string? So we'll put slash B here, right? So I'm modifying this part only. Instead of creating the BB part again and then merging two, I'm showing you the modification in this which we have created for starting and ending symbol A. So instead of single A, if we are getting single B, I'm going to accept the string and I'm moving to the final state. Now same this transitions, we are going to check for two B's and then starting and ending B fixed, and in between we can have anything. So can we have a replica of the lower part for BB? I'll show it to you and then. See, is it a replica of the lower part which we were checking for the condition AA, starting and ending symbol is fixed AA, and in between we can have anything. For that we had a loop here. Similar to this, I made a transition from Q0 to Q3 for first week and Q3 to Q1 for last week, and in between we can have anything. So I'm having loop on Q3. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? Any doubt in merging two conditions? You can use your old traditional method. आप दो NFAs बनाओ, then merge it accordingly. I showed you the shortcut one. Is it okay? Any doubt till here in the
हेलो मैम।
construction part of NFA? Yes.
मैम ए और बी हमने फाइनल स्टेट में भेजा है, तो हमने डेथ स्टेट क्यों बनाया?
It's not a dead state. It's a temporary state. See, A और B जो single आपका transition जा रहा है for A and B, that is capable of accepting a string. Either it has A, single A, or B, single B. ठीक है? What if two B's, two A's and A and B fix, A and A fix रखा है और बीच में कुछ भी आ रहा है? उसके लिए we have created this. The first A is fixed and the last A is fixed. In between we can have anything. Similarly, यहाँ पे भी ये it's a temporary state, not the dead state. अगर first B आया तो मैं उसको temporary state में भेज रही हूँ to check whether after getting each symbol हमारा last symbol B आ रहा है क्या. If last symbol B आया तो I'm sending it to final state. It's not a dead state. Dead state is a state from where you cannot move back to the any other state, right? But from here Q3 we are moving to the final state, so it cannot be a dead state. It's a temporary state. Is it okay, Prem?
यस मैम।
Okay. I hope the construction of NFA is clear to all of you. So we'll be winding up here. Thank you so much, everyone.